Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the next segment of NESC Talks. With me, I have Lenny and Mackie. They're both BSOs in the National Employment Services Center. We're here today to bring you some information about the two national job fairs that we organized in 2023 and 2024. These guys were the leaders in organizing both events. I could tell you guys something about it, but I really want to give them the platform and the floor to tell the general public about their experiences organizing these two national job fairs. But before we get too far down into the rabbit hole, as I like to call it, I want to know, gentlemen, how these two national job fairs came about. Let's start with the one in 2023. What pushed us as a team to organize the first national job fair ever held in St. Martin?
Well, historically speaking, the National Employment Services Center has always been experiencing difficulties in terms of matching candidates with potential job opportunities. And as a result of that, the national job fairs were born.
So basically, the national job fair was a platform that we created to facilitate
Correct.
the job
Indeed.
matching
Yes.
aspect. And I think I want to give some context there because
Please do.
people should know. Before these national job fairs, the NESC had a placement rate of 2%. And we're talking a placement rate of 2% when we're looking at thousands of vacancies coming in.
Thousands.
So I just want to give a little bit of context. So basically, we facilitated
A platform.
a platform for the businesses and the job seekers.
Yeah, basically
to
without having a
connect.
middle. Yeah,
Correct.
basically without having a
Okay.
middleman.
Okay. So thanks for that little insight. You guys did it.
Yes, we
What
did.
were some of, the planning and the organizational aspects that you both had to go through in getting these two job fairs done? I mean, I was section head sitting in the back
On your throne.
on the throne, yeah, basically. Thank you for letting them know it was a troll, Lenny.
Listen, I can speak for both of us when I say that we are not event planners. I've never planned anything in my life. I'm usually the person that tells
I
me
find
this.
it hard to believe, Lenny.
I mean, we did a good job. We
Thank
planned
you.
two
Big
huge
yourself up
national
a little
job.
bit.
I bigging myself for sure, bigging my partner up too.
Definitely.
But I can say like it was. I wouldn't say nerve wracking, but it was kind of. I was nervous in the beginning because it's like, wow, where to start from, and then it's from the planning to the implementing, being on the road every day, hours upon hours.
What
dealing with
were you
different
on the
businesses.
road doing? Like let's give
Basically
them some details.
basically trying to engage with different businesses because the whole goal was to have a diverse job fair. We didn't want to just focus on one industry, so we wanted to make it broad based. So every day we went to different business. First of all, we emailed businesses, and we weren't.
What was happening when you emailed them? Let's talk plain English.
Well,
talk
I
to
mean,
the people.
I could say something too,
Yeah, yeah.
because we
Go ahead.
basically did the same thing, right?
Oh, you did this again.
Now, we followed different style of engagement. We emailed, we called, and we went in person. That was the last option that we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
It was very challenging to actually get the businesses on board. And
How many businesses are you approached? If I could just chime in here. Because I
for
can't
the
remember
first
the exact
national
number.
job fair, it was roughly about 53 companies.
That you
50
guys went out actively.
Yes,
Yes.
reaching out
Okay.
to via email, calling, and in person.
Yep.
And at the end, we ended up having about 23
23 companies took part
joining the
in the
national
first
job
job
fair in
fair, yeah.
2023.
Okay, so about 50%.
You could say, yeah.
Correct. About that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was the biggest challenge that we faced as a team. I think.
But what was some of the statements made by the businesses when you reached out to them? Were there clear statements coming from them as to why they were interested or not interested in participating?
Well, but go ahead.
Are you
for instance-
excited to get the
Listen,
floor right now?
We,
Go ahead.
one of
go
the
ahead.
most common things we heard from businesses was, "Oh yeah, I saw your email, but but what? Yeah, and then they can't answer you. So,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
a lot of them wouldn't give reasons as to why they weren't interested. Some reasons other businesses gave was because they just don't have vacancies right now, or a lot of companies weren't confident in the pool of candidates, so they wanted to go about it their own way rather than us helping them find qualified candidates. And also, comparing 2025 to 2023, they didn't really know who the NESC was. So it's like, I don't think they really want to put their trust in us too.
Correct. That was
Really-
one of the biggest challenges that
I think so, yeah.
they faced with. But
And historically, just let me, chime in here. I think historically, the business community tends to have this
Because we're
perspective that we're government and that we basically try to mostly assist disadvantaged groups or
Correct,
vulnerable
correct,
groups in
correct.
finding job placement.
Yep.
Which again, we opened the National Job Fair to all job seekers, whether you were a client of ours or not. So anyone could have participated. So that may have been a little bit of the misperception that was, rumbling in their minds at the time.
Correct.
I could imagine
I
it
could only
when
conclude a little
they
bit,
saw
yeah.
the email.
I could only
like,
conclude
oh.
a little bit. I'm drawing a conclusion there.
But I must share as well that those companies that did join, when we first met with them, they were very ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
They were very excited about the
Okay.
National
Yeah.
Job Fair.
Okay.
They was like, yes, we need this. Like, finally. Like,
Those are
Yeah,
the companies that joined, that actually participated
Yeah.
with the job
Okay.
fair.
Yeah.
But the others, they were challenging.
Okay.
Very challenging.
Very.
But the National Job Fair for 2023 was a successful event. Why I say that is because we had almost 400 job seekers attended.
And how many vacancies?
It was
353 vacancies for the first job fair.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
353.
Okay, 353 vacancies for the first national.
And at the job fair too, I could add too, there were one or two companies that came at the job fair hoping to get a table on the day.
It was actually two.
It was two.
Two
Blue
of
Point
them.
and some
Some
other
other
company. I can't remember the other
company,
company.
yeah.
So
Okay,
I guess the word got around.
basically listening to you guys, the planning was new. Having to plan an event of this magnitude,
Yeah, boy.
having to deal with the finite logistics of getting the business
was
community
challenging.
on board, because I can imagine the job
It was
seekers were
challenging.
geared and ready to
They
go.
were ready. Oh, they were waiting for that.
Yeah.
They
Listen,
were
I
ready.
could say, I don't know if I can't speak for you, I could speak for myself, but when I would say leading up to the job for the first one, every day we were like, but I hope people come now. We were nervous. We were like,
It's true.
although we did a lot of marketing, a lot of video interviews, we were like, boy, this is.
We didn't take note. Now we did maybe like a handful of people were something. I think we hosted it. We hosted it at Bel Air.
Yeah.
Ample parking.
Exactly. When we opened those doors, we saw that line.
Oh my,
we were like,
that was refreshing. It
Yeah.
was motivating to see
wanted to
that.
hug him.
You always want hug. I don't even. I'm just. Sorry, no, but no. Okay, so it's good to like get some of that insights and perspective in organizing that one in 2023. Was there a vast difference between organizing the event in
Yes.
2023 and 2024? I know we moved location.
Yeah.
Logistically, I think we underestimated the impact of moving locations. So what was some of the differences between the 2023 National Job Fair and the 2024 in terms of logistics, in terms of the innovation that we tried to implement, new innovation that we tried to implement in 2024? And I think we went even bigger.
Yeah.
I remember thinking back then, this is insanity.
Yeah.
You said that many times.
I said it many times that we have you guys trying to do bigger and better.
Yeah.
But tell the general public something about the difference between the 2023 National Job Fair and the 2024. And I want to go deep into the certain aspects of the feedback that we got and statements that were made, even though in my opinion and I think as a team it was a resounding success for us. But
Indeed.
let's get into the differences between those two national job fairs.
Well, from my perspective, the biggest difference that I saw was the size.
Yeah.
Because the size of the job fairs were different by far.
Way different.
Way different. And then the innovative things that we brought forward as well. Like for instance, we wanted to reach out to young professionals in the Netherlands to give them opportunities to find job opportunities in St. Martin.
Yep.
That was one. I think.
And that came off of
The trip-
the trip that we
Correct.
attended in the National Career
Correct.
Fair. What year was that again?
2024, March 2024.
2023.
No,
Was it
four.
It was 24?
Yeah.
Wow.
2020.
Time flies, man.
Tell you.
Yeah, man.
I was like, good job. We're going back again.
Hey, let's talk to the division head. Just to let the general public know, the division head is currently in the room and she's watching us really hard. We're sweating.
We're not editing that.
And some of the other challenges that I experienced, see between the two is the logistics.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first national job fair,
You're going back to the challenges again, Mackie?
sorry, not the
Differences,
challenges, the
Differences.
differences. Sorry, my bad.
Differences, Fabio.
Yes, going back to the differences. So, I haven't mentioned that we had a digital
Yeah, the virtual interview.
virtual interviews at the fair. That was one. The size and what else again? The venue location was also
Was different, yeah.
Oh man, it was such a huge venue, man. It intimidated me at first.
Yeah,
I
but we
felt
we
intimidated.
actually thought that we didn't have enough businesses to
fill
Fill
in,
fill it.
fill in
I think we
yes,
underestimated.
What are some of the industries that participated
We
in
had
second?
aviation, we had hospitality, of course, we had
The
wholesale and retail,
yeah.
we had black
security,
construction,
construction,
Yeah, medical, I think
medical,
health and wellness
auto.
was in there. Yes,
auto, marine.
Yeah.
insurance companies.
We had
a variety of different companies.
It was 43 companies, and again this year, not
How
this
many
year.
vacancies? 42
was-
companies.
It was
I think
Over
750.
700. Yeah.
Yeah,
And listen, those numbers are staggering.
Indeed.
When you listen to the amount of vacancies, now we've discussed this internally in the team over and over again. I think it's a discussion that we continue to have, and it's a discussion that we need to have in the larger context within the community of St. Martin. We question if those were actual vacancies at this point in time.
yeah.
And we question that because how many people were able to be placed in over 1,000 vacancies over those two national job fairs?
2023 it was 71, and 2024 it was 90. So that's my math ain't that good. That's 161.
I was gonna wait for you to do the math. I wasn't gonna help you.
161, 161.
Actually, it's 190.
Explain, Mackie.
The 90s because after the fair of 2023, we still had a few companies that submitted
Oh yes,
the,
that's true.
the
That's true.
remaining amount.
I knew that. I just
wanted
wanted to know if he was paying attention or not.
So it's
Keeping
190.
him on his toes.
Yeah, yeah,
Keeping him honest. Okay.
It's 190, but we do have a lot of challenges in terms of getting back feedback from the companies
yeah.
after the job fair. We even went there in person where we would work with a QR code just to facilitate that process for them so that they would be able to scan it and provide us
Make it as easy as possible.
statistics so that we can have the data too.
And we get it. We get it. At the end of the day, I think there's always this hesitancy to have government involved in your hiring practices. But just for the context of the public, we signed agreements with all of the
Exactly.
businesses,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
as a condition in that agreement would have been to share that information with
Data
us.
after the fact.
We
yes.
even facilitated it for them where we indicated that they could check box if they don't wish to share
Exactly.
this.
Exactly.
So we made it as
easy as possible.
easy as possible for
Give them
them.
the option whether or not if they want to actually provide this information or if they do not, or if they want to provide it.
Yeah.
In the majority of companies, they did not check that box that says they don't want to provide it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was really difficult for us as a
Very
team to
challenging.
know how impactful these particular national
Exactly.
job fairs
Exactly.
were in terms of being able to match candidates to the vacancies that we sourced during over 1,000 vacancies.
Exactly.
That we sourced.
So from those two national job fairs, we had over 1,000 vacancies.
And we were able to match at least 200 persons to
At
jobs,
least, yeah.
to opportunities. And I'm not going to do the math, but the percentage doesn't sound great.
No.
But just for context to the general public, that's better than we've ever done in the history.
Well, just to give you a slight information about the statistics, for 2023, the hiring rate went from 2%. Our experience.
It was less, but I was being
2%.
generous with 2%. But okay, go ahead.
It went up to 37%.
Okay. Okay.
Having attended an organized national job fair in 2024, it went up to 39%.
Okay.
So that's an improve for us at
Yeah,
least. You know?
So I think we demonstrated with these two national job fairs that the businesses in particular appreciate the opportunity to interview,
Yes.
engage with
Yes.
job seekers,
Yes.
and determine if they actually want to hire them of their own free
Exactly.
volition.
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
No companies was forced to hire any.
No.
Okay.
They had that flexibility.
Okay, okay. So these are some great takeaways from those two national job fairs. Are there any lessons that you guys learned? I know I learned a lot.
Tash,
Most of those lessons is I still want to strangle the business community, but okay, go ahead.
my biggest lesson, this is outside of the event itself, but what I learned personally is plannings never go accordingly.
Yep.
And I was saying
Yeah.
that this morning
Yeah,
to Lenny, because I am the type of person that when I plan something, I envision everything
To
holistically,
go exactly how you
step by step. And having organized these 2 national job fairs, I realized planning something does never go accordingly. So
Well,
that's what's
putting
one
it
of
on
the things that-
paper. I think the difference is the lesson learned is you could put something on paper, and then when it comes to the day itself,
it's different.
it's different.
And that's fine. Because you have to have it on paper to have at least
course,
an,
of course.
an understanding of
Concept.
what you want to do, you
Yeah.
know? So that's one of the things that I learned.
Job fairs are like relationships. You leave room for disappointment.
Yes, and the other thing that I also learned,
Your relationship so real.
I need to not back there. You gotta expect it to
Tough right
You know?
now, bro. But I hear you. No, I get you completely.
what did you learn, Lenny?
I would say the same is, boy, I don't want to say I'm taking the same answer from you, but it's like I thought when it comes to event planning is it goes exactly how you think it would go. But me being experienced in playing music at different events, something always goes wrong. But when we did it was like, man, go fine, man. But that second job fair, how things with the pace, that was the biggest problem for the 2024 job fair, the pace. But it wasn't
the change of venue didn't help either.
no, but you want to know something? I can't really blame us. I think you know what it is, to be honest. The job seekers were so excited to see all those businesses there at one time because the whole gist was you let us know what businesses and industries you're interested in, you interview at their table, and you leave. But I think they said, oh, airport there, oh, hospital there, but let me dig in there. So that's what kept the queue that long. So
And in certain instances too, because we just as a point of information for the general public, the entire division closed down.
Yes.
we need
All
all
team
hands on deck.
members had to help facilitate this national job fair, especially the one in 2024.
Yeah.
And we learned our lesson from 2023 as well because we did not have enough manpower
Yes.
at the one in 2023. So
And I wanted to add something extra as well.
thank you to the team, by the way,
Yeah.
for volunteering.
Indeed. One thing that another thing that I also learned, no, well, not really learned, but observed is that because we didn't have sufficient tools, digital tools, that made it a lot more challenging for us to actually have the logistics
In place. Yeah.
the way that it should be.
And especially when we're dealing with that size of crowd.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes.
think like historically, I don't think there's ever been a national job fair of this level in magnitude
St. Martin?
organized, this well attended in St. Martin. I mean, I'm safe to say it. I know it hasn't happened.
Correct.
So-
You've been there.
yeah, I've been there. So I know in terms of making history, these 2 national job fairs definitely did that.
And organized by who?
Huh?
All right, organized by who? All right. Let them know, Tasha. Let them know.
Okay. okay, calm down, Lenny. But no, so there were some interesting takeaways from some of the information that you shared here today. I want to take some of that and kind of go over into a different experience that we all had. I want to mention the names of the persons who traveled to that National Career Exhibition in the Netherlands in 2024. We had Eddie Esnat. He is behind the camera here today.
You want to say hi, Eddie?
You want to pop your head in? No, he said no. He like, no, he ain't coming on.
He's staying
like,
behind today. He's staying behind today.
So, and we had Makidou Fevri. He also attended that event in the Netherlands, myself as well, and Leroy Ray. We were all there for the National Career Exhibition in the Netherlands. I think Lenny just reminded me that happened in March of 2024. Wow.
Man, it don't feel like it.
It don't feel like it. So, wow, that was an experience in of itself.
We hit the ground running as soon as we landed.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Sorry,
literally.
give us a few
Literally.
minutes because I think we're letting it sink in terms of that entire experience. It was both emotional and eye-opening. All of us have been there. Lenny studied in the United States. He did not study in the Netherlands, but the 3 other persons who attended, we all studied in the Netherlands. We had the experience. But we were away from the experience for a number of years at that point in time. So it was very emotional to go back and engage with the students and engage with the different stakeholders that we met with while there in the Netherlands. we attended the National Career Exhibition on behalf of the NESC. We went to that career exhibition with a number of vacancies.
Yeah.
Yes.
These gentlemen were critically involved in sourcing those vacancies again for that particular event. So tell us something about that, because that was a completely different experience
Mhm.
coming from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
I want to get your guys' input on it in terms of, was it as difficult to source the vacancies for that?
Yes
You think
and
so?
no. Yes and no. I say yes and no because we only had 1 month to prepare.
Well, in that aspect, yes.
We kind of, yeah, we
It was
kind of
last minute,
speed dated
you
the
know?
one, the heck out of one.
So that
sure.
was predominantly the reason why it was challenging. But
Yeah.
we reached out to the companies that joined the National Job Fair in 2023,
Yeah.
and they had open vacancies, and we engaged with them, and then
Right.
they handed
I guess because of that job fair, they had a bit more trust in us. So it was like,
Correct.
okay, we had a good
Correct.
initiative with them before. Let me go at it again.
But
Correct.
So it
we
was-
would have been there representing them. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a completely different
Right.
Yes.
beast.
Yes.
They wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
We were there representing them.
Yes.
So
And they trusted us with that.
Yeah.
okay.
And then knowing-
thank you
knowing-
guys for doing that.
Also knowing the caliber of students and young professionals in the Netherlands,
Mhm.
we sourced mid to high level vacancies.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
that was one of the aims.
Okay, so I know what my experience was. I think my first experience with the students was at Rock Mondrian.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
That was
Very
interesting
Yeah.
and also very emotionally
Sad.
tough for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I say that because a lot of the students gave us their, I don't want to say their criticism, but they did give us their feedback, the feelings that they were having being in the Netherlands. A lot of them were struggling
Mhm.
with being in the Netherlands, homesickness,
Yeah.
having to adjust to the culture, having
also
to
feel like they
adjust to
weren't
the
being heard.
weather. Yeah. Housing issue in the Netherlands.
That's one of the biggest one that they're faced with as well.
Biggest one, a lot of students told us about them having to live in the cars. Yeah, during the winter, not having any housing, and a lot of them expressed to us that
And that's affecting their studies.
Mhm.
that they would be happy to come back home to get jobs here in St. Martin, but they are critically afraid of the opportunities, the lack of
Yes.
opportunities that are here in
Yes.
St. Martin. Our job market isn't as competitive.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So tell me, like, that was my experience, and I must say it was very emotional for me. It made me feel like in that meeting with the students from Rock Mondrian that I couldn't lie to them. I couldn't sugarcoat the entire aspect of deciding to come back home. I think I made it very clear to them that it's a sacrifice, and I think I stated that over and over again. So what was some of y'all experience in that sense?
For me, it was similar because I studied in the Netherlands as well. My experience was totally different from their experience. I remember when I started studying there.
I feel like I had a good time.
My first year was hard.
Yeah.
I literally didn't have a bed to lay on.
Mhm.
I had to use airbed. So I understand them where they're coming from. But having heard them and hearing what they were going through, it
Mhm.
brought me back to what I went through.
Yeah.
But I persevered and continued, and I am here now. But as it regards coming back to St. Martin for job opportunities, although they want to come back, they also don't want to come back because of the lack of opportunities
Yeah.
and the salary differences that there are.
But they're also far removed from what's happening
So
in
the
St.
culture.
Martin. Yeah.
So they feel like they're no longer connected to the country.
And we're not doing anything to improve that as a
Right.
country either. just
Exactly. And one of the things that they mentioned is that St. Martin is so backwards.
Mm.
St. Martin digitally is so backwards. They feel like they're living in. I don't want to say they're saying that they're living in a country that's.
It's advanced. Just say it.
Correct, but to leave that and come back to St. Martin,
Yeah.
they don't want to do that
Mm.
because they feel like there is no growth happening in St. Martin. They're not being heard. The economy is not ready for them, so they prefer to brain drain and provide their skills and talent to somewhere else where they feel valued.
So, Mackie, thank you for telling us something about your experiences and how you relate the job seekers and the young professionals in the Netherlands to the labor market here in St. Martin. Lenny, what was basically your experience as far as, interacting with the young professionals and job seekers in the Netherlands as it relates to the labor market in St. Martin?
Yeah, I heard the grievances. I felt really bad about it because, to be honest, I was kind of blind to it, where it comes to uh the job opportunities for people, especially when they graduate bachelor's and masters. But when it comes to the whole situation of the not the employee, not sorry, the student in Harlem, I really couldn't relate 100% because for me personally, when I was studying in the States, it was kind of smooth sailing. I didn't have no housing issue. Like, I go to school, I go back to my dorm, I do my work, and I come home. And the thing is with me, I'm an island kid. I always put in my mind, no matter where I went to study, I was coming back home. And I always tell people this story. My last exam was Tuesday. I was back home Thursday. That's true. That's 100%
commitment
true.
to coming back home.
I always want to come back home. But again, one thing I told the students when we had a presentation at the St. Martin House, and this is something I truly believe I say to everybody I meet when it comes to people downstairs I talk to or wherever on the road. I understand, yes, we have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and whatnot, but sometimes we have to start somewhere. That's how I look at it, because when I came back home, my first job was working at Hertz, washing cars, renting cars, driving to and from the airport,
But that's the sacrifice that I think I speak about. But unfortunately, young professionals and students of this current generation, they're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think that we have to respect as a country.
Of course.
It also should include, in my opinion, engaging with them more.
Exactly.
I think the engagement now is predominantly in terms of what study financing is doing, which is, I'm not sure if it's much. I stand to be corrected. I know a lot of work goes into preparing them to go to the Netherlands, but what happens after that, while they're there, while they are studying, I think they continue to need support, and they continue to need to be close to home. Not completely, because they're growing, they're learning, they're living their lives. But I think we need to find ways to continue to build awareness about opportunities here in St. Martin, and to continually engage with them, and not only engage with them about jobs, but engage with them about how they're doing.
Exactly.
Because a lot of them are struggling in the Netherlands.
They need that mental support as well.
Yeah, correct.
They're alone,
They're alone.
It's not easy being a student abroad.
No,
it's not. You're away from your family, you're away from your culture, you're away from Johnny Cake, chicken leg and Johnny Cake.
Yeah.
So
that's not our culture, Mackie.
well, I mean, this is
it's one of the foods that we love,
One of them.
but it's not our culture. But no, seriously. And just for context, because I want the general public to know as well, how many businesses partnered with us for the National Career Exhibition in the Netherlands?
Well, we were able to land about 7 companies where we had over 80 vacancies.
Okay, and were we able to successfully place anybody?
Unfortunately, no. We weren't able to.
No. And that's something that I think is bigger than the effort that we put in.
Yeah.
I know I can say I successfully helped at least one person get a job who was wrapping up his studies in the Netherlands. He was able to secure a job at the Social Insurance Bank. Even though they didn't give us vacancies, what allowed him to be able to secure that job was the session that we had at the house at The Hague, where I was able to introduce him directly to the HR representatives from the Social Insurance Bank. So I'm not counting score in that particular placement, but I think it shows us the difference in terms of what needs to happen on a more consistent basis is in order to place people in job opportunities here in St. Martin. And I think our students and our young professionals, they need opportunity, they need access to better opportunities. Some of those board positions, some of those nice consultancy positions, So I think if we're able to diversify the type of job opportunities,
they will come back.
They will come back.
Yeah.
Swiftly.
100%.
Swiftly.
So, that's something about our experience at the National Career Exhibition. It was great to be back in the Netherlands. The weather sucked. Sorry, Holland.
I loved it.
But it was great to be back in in the Netherlands to have that experience again. And, we also spoke to guidance counselors that shed some light into the different challenges that they're having in terms of, the students that they have to mentor and coach. Some of them fresh out of their moms and dads
Don't
home,
even know how to cook.
don't have to cook, don't have any life experience. So it's challenging, and being able to perceive it, Mackie and Lenny, from this side of the fence was definitely different and eye-opening.
Yes.
So we really appreciated that opportunity. It brings us kind of full circle to 2025. We're here. It's almost half of the year already. What do we have planned in terms of events for 2025 BSO teams? I want to give you the opportunity to talk about it a little bit as we move forward with organizing those events, and
Great.
to shout out whoever we need to shout out to get them on board.
Awesome. Well, the next events that we will be working on, we have organizing right now or planning 3 different career expos. Well, National Career Expos, to be more specific. And the objective for these expos is to help share light or awareness on some of the companies that are somewhat forgotten.
Industries.
Well, sorry, industries. For example, the marine industries. We have human health and social industry services. Yeah. What's the third one?
The term is tourism, but we want
Tourism,
to make it
yes.
more broad, not just basically doing front desk and
Correct.
Looking at careers that are hard to fill.
exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
So we want to bring forth more awareness about the potential job opportunities in terms of career growth in these companies. Not that there are going to be jobs available on the day of the event. Maybe it might be, we don't know. But the focus here is that you, as the attendees, you go, you see the different companies there, you engage with them, you talk, you ask them what type of job opportunities, if they have, or what type of career pathways that there are available in their companies. What must you study? What must you do? How can you get to these positions? Just to have a sense of engagement with them. So that's what we're working on right now, to just bring more clarity and more awareness in terms of the different career opportunities that there are within these companies in the respective industry per expo.
And I
No, go ahead.
was just about to plug in. Our first expo will be on August 22nd, 2025, at the Government Administration Building, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
In which industry will that be?
That would be human health and social services.
And the second one is going to be held on September 19th, which is going to be focusing on the marine industry.
Yeah.
And the last one is going to be in October.
Yeah, it's the third Friday. I think that's the 22nd, if I'm mistaken. Again,
I'm
not too sure about October, but
Yes.
it's the third Friday in October.
Yes.
And it seems that we have decided to move away from the national job fairs.
Yeah.
Is there any specific reason that we're moving away from the national job fairs and more focusing on the National Career Exhibition events?
I think basically we wanted to do something on a smaller scale, but still give the same impact, hopefully. And also we really try to give the job seekers insight as to how to better prepare themselves for certain jobs that they want to get. I would say that's one of the main goals.
And from my perspective, I feel like St. Martin is not ready for a national job fair again.
Why you feel like that, Mackie?
Simply because the challenges that comes with it, not from our perspective, but the challenges that the businesses are faced with, and
the mismatches.
The mismatch is correct. So, for instance, we have there was a report that was done by Panthea in 2023, and within that report, 61% of the companies that answered their survey said that there is a high lack of experience
and skills
as well. And attitude is another problem. So these are things that are reflected around the national job fairs, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have a hiring rate in terms of persons finding jobs or being matched with the companies. So I feel personally that the national job fair is not But St. Martin is not ready for that as yet.
At least
On
not
that
now.
scale, not
Yeah.
on
We
that scale.
hope
Not on
at
that
some
scale.
point
It
that
will become,
we'll
yes.
get there, but I think this gives us a good opportunity to measure between two types of
Events,
events
yeah.
in recruitment,
Correct.
job placement, career
Correct.
development events, to see what the impact of both would be in terms of affording people the opportunity. Because you can still come and attend these
Exactly,
national career
exactly.
exhibitions with your qualifications,
Right.
your experience,
Right.
introduce yourself, sell yourself to potential employers. That opportunity
Yeah.
is
Yes,
still
it still
there.
stands,
Sure.
you know.
Thank you for that insight, gentlemen. Lenny, Maki. Is there anything in terms of the national career exhibitions? Who are we targeting in terms of job seekers? Is there any specific target group should attend or pay attention to these upcoming events?
For sure, young professionals, but for sure, we want to get students, particularly the graduating classes.
Mm.
So what I personally want to do, I talked to Ken about this, is to have a meeting with the Ministry of Education to what's the word? I wasn't going to
Include them.
not include them, but to schedule bus routes so that buses can pick up the students, bring them to the expo at a certain time so they can see what's going on during the expo for all three. So we really want to, because a lot of students, including myself, growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do coming out of high school. You know, I went straight to work. Right, I worked in a warehouse after high
Me
school.
too.
You know, so I think that will give them keen insight as to, you know what, maybe this is something I should get into. So
And is there any innovation or anything different about this national career exhibition as opposed to other career expos that
Yes,
happen on St.
yes.
Martin?
And I say yes because the engagement level, we want to have a high level of engagement within those expos. One of the things that we would like for the companies to do is bring the different type of equipments and materials that they can bring forth in the during the expo,
Mhm.
so that
So they can
persons can,
showcase.
you know, have a
Experiences.
experience, maybe touch it, maybe, you know, do what it whatever works for them on that day.
Stimulate passions. I like
Correct,
to call
correct. So that's one of the ways that we want to increase engagement during the expo.
Right.
What else?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, displays, TV screens, you know, where
Mhm.
the companies can also display the graphs of what it looks like to actually grow from point 1 to point 10 in the company and career
Yeah.
path. You know, all these type of things that we want to make sure that persons can see and be able to engage. And as well as we're going to have a person on the floor to basically, you know, break the ice to make people feel comfortable to start engaging with companies more.
Guide them to where they want to go.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. This was another segment of NESC Talks. Join us for more segments as we release information about the different engagement activities and results of the National Employment Services Center. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Take care.